Alrighty, I have arrived, I think. Just got finished in a workout. But I am now here. Make sure I can hear myself. Alright, welcome to Resident Essentials. Today is Thursday, and it is that time again where we can be seen or heard live across the internet, especially here on Facebook. This is a time where I'm on every Thursday with my talk called Wisdom Keys with Brother Francis. And today we're going to do a talk, and this talk is entitled How to Use Dreams to Change Your Reality. Well, there's three significant words in there. Dreams, that's the first word. Second word is change. And the third word is reality. Dreams and reality go through changes. Dreams and realities go through changes. And often those changes are essential to our growth, our well-being, so that we become more balanced in our life, so that we could feel greater resilience, we could feel better about ourselves, we could feel how we have grown or not grown, how well we have matured spiritually for ourselves, and what kind of changes that we often desire or need to do in order to see our lives become in a state where we're blossoming, we're alive with energy and self-improvement, self-empowerment, self-realization. So I chose this topic because it was based on actually something I was watching last night. And it was a Netflix movie. And this Netflix movie was a movie I have been waiting to see for quite some time. It was the very current late actor Chad Boseman playing the role of Thurgood Marshall. So the name of the movie is called Marshall. And my title topic was inspired by the movie and how he portrayed Thurgood Marshall, and how he was, in essence talking about ways and means to have one's reality change, their current reality, and the reality of all their ancestors were like weighing on the back of the individual in the present tense. And so I started to think, and in fact it brought some tears to my eyes watching it, because it wasn't about a wake-up call for myself. It was about a reminder that all that your ancestors have prayed for, all that your ancestors who have walked the face of the earth before you always wanted to see for themselves or for generations that follow afterwards, how that they hope somehow that what they were doing in that moment would affect the future generations. So it made me begin to think and reflect deeply about what I'm doing. And I thought, well, how could I pick a topic? So actually, usually I have the topic the day before or several days before. This time, the topic title came in when I finally awakened from sleep, which was around 6:37 a.m. in the morning. Even though I'm doing things off and on, but I'm just finally awake. And it was this topic: how to use dreams to change your current reality. The late Dr. Martin Luther King said, in so many words, and I'll just paraphrase it: the people without a dream, if you don't have a dream, if you don't have a purpose that connects you to that dream, you will perish. The dreams perish, they fall away, because you don't know, or you haven't quite grasped or held in your hand or within your mind or within your heart a deeper meaning, a deeper reason, a deeper purpose for doing what you're doing. So in essence, I'm kind of basing this topic on that a little bit. Dreams are important to us. All of us dream. We don't remember all our dreams. We don't even remember if we have had a dream. But for most cases, all of us do dream. And we have tons of them. We might have several snippets of dreams throughout our sleep state. I remember hearing a person say that, we dream for long periods of time. I've never been in a sleep lab, so I don't know, but I do know that I've experienced lucid dreaming, and I do know that I have had several different scenarios in the course of one night's sleep. And doing a little research, found out basically that it's been recorded for most individuals that 90 seconds of REM time, rapid eye movement, is when you're dreaming, experiencing a dream. And then there's a time you get after the rapid eye movement, the body quiets down and you take a big sigh, a big deep breath, and you're into preparation stage for the next set of snippets of reality happening while you're asleep. Dreams, once you understand what they are, can assist you in a wider spectrum within your life. You can just receive the dreams as they come to you and wake up like that, they don't mean anything. Or you can do some research where you start looking at the various things that you see in the dream. Colors, things that you experience, colors, sound, the scenery itself, whether it's indoors, outdoors, in nature, just out in your neighborhood, in a city-wide area, or the country-style, rural area. All these things have an effect and we have a reaction to them. They come forth out of our memory. Our subconscious is housing all of these experiences, good, bad, or indifferent. Doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. We're photographing. We're the filmmaker. We're taking in all this data throughout our life, waking state and dream state. So we know change is something that we go through every day on a very minute scale to very large scale. Consciously making changes or being affected externally by other things that are causing us to change, whether it's, you have a job or career, profession, that can take you through changes. You're with family members, that can take you through changes. You're in school, college, university, that takes you through changes. Your neighborhood, that takes you through changes. Travel, you get a chance to travel around the world, that's going to create some things with you. And it doesn't matter if you don't even travel globally, you just travel within your area where you live. You might see some things, some events, some people that will somehow impact you in very subtle ways or very large ways to think about making changes. changes are healthy nonetheless. They're very healthy for us. We crave change when we're bored. I can get bored quick, even with things that I'm doing. And I think, like, I need a change of pace, change of opportunity. Look at some new faces. Get away from my face. Nonetheless, make a change, make a shift. Change means to shift. Change in the sense that I'm thinking about and speaking about is a change in attitude, a change in how we reflect on ourselves in life and how we connect with other people, and whether that's a soothing change or a rough change. Nonetheless, it's a change. And then we can decide not to make a change. I mean, that's also possible too, is that you may not want to shift and make a change, but you're considering it on some level. So, change is important. Change we can learn or establish through the network of dreams. You could put yourself in that state of mind, a slight meditation throughout the day, and a reminder that you're going to remember the dream. You might use an affirmation. You might use a decree. Either way, you're going to cause yourself to think about making a change. And the change would have to be, now, it has to be a significant change, but yet it could happen on a very minute scale. You can do a little bit. It's like if you're striving to drop weight. We know those first 30, 40 days, 60 days, it's not easy to just drop weight, because you got to use discipline in the foods that you're not going to eat anymore, discipline in the foods that you're going to begin to consume for your body, and other things, other nutrients, exercise. Then there's, and doing your best to exercise with a regimen every day, and then tweak it a little bit and tweak it. Or you go to the gym. I'm not a gym person, never been a gym person. Not even in school that I like gym. But I like walking around. And when I was younger, in my 20s, late 20s, and so I studied some martial arts, which in a sense helped me knock off about 20 pounds, and studied it religiously for a year or two. And it helped me 2 or 3 years knock off some weight. But then again, you start picking up weight. Why? Because I love to eat. So there's always something that's bouncing back and forth, right? We're always going through some type of change with ourselves. There's also the change of attitude and how you think about yourself and how you feel about yourself. That's also very important. So we have this thing called a reality, current world. Who's in that world with us? Who's in that environment with us? Loved ones, a few or many. Friends, a few or many. Relatives, a few or many. Neighbors, few or many. Then there's the experiences, the interactions that you have with them. You try to live in a casual kind of environment, and then you have specific groups that you're connected with. You're building this reality. But then you can use meditation to build a reality, intentions to build a reality, prayers to build a reality, affirmative prayer treatments with yourself to build a new reality, meditation to build a reality, affirmation and decrees. And also, not only that which you speak, but then follow through. What steps are you going to take to follow through to see this new reality fetched out for yourself? And then realizing you're not alone as you create this reality. So you have dreams, which can go through changes, or you can use the dream to create a change. Then you have the reality, what's there in front of you, that particular experience that you have right now. Not Not thinking about the future and not thinking about the past. That was a past reality. There's a plausible future reality. If you're dealing with multi-universes, overlapping and parallel universes, those are other realities. And you can find yourself, your soul aspect self, an image of you across the lanes of life, experiencing different things, different realities, or similar realities, but you can find yourself. You could plug into that through deep levels of meditation. You could plug into that part and find yourself living better or not as good, living with a lot more or a lot less. But you could communicate with that extension, that part of yourself that's doing that, and bring that energy into this energy. Bring the successes, bring the keys into this one. Well, the dream world is an easier way, to some extent, on meditation. These are ways in which you could help change the current reality. In the dream world, it is known as lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming, Lucid, means you are consciously awake within the dream that you're having, but you're not physically awake from your physical bed that's asleep. The physical self that's sound asleep. That part of you is not awakened. It's still experiencing the dream world, but now within the mind. Within your mind, you have taken this step and have realized that, that doesn't happen in my real life reality, or that's happening and I'm going to change it. So you can use dreams, especially lucid dreaming, to start the process of changing the realities that you're dealing with. The reality. Let's say you're working, you have a coworker, you don't get along with the coworker or so-called boss. You don't get along with them, or your business partner. You don't get along with them. Those things can be changed in a lucid dreaming format. When you begin to see it and understand it, you could change the outcome. So none of it has to be dastardly confusing. None of it has to be in a state of anger and pain. Pain emotionally, mentally, or otherwise. You don't have to feel like, I don't understand what's going on in my real life, because the reality, the suffix ity means the condition of what's real. What's the state or condition of the reality of the real world you're in? Are you happy with it? No or yes. But you can change it, or you can just let it go along in the manner that it's happening and just deal with it accordingly. But most of the time, at some point in your life, you start to think, well, I'm going to change. I'm not going to wait until I awaken from sleep. Because if I awaken from sleep, I may not have the opportunity to recognize what I saw in the dream world during my lucidity, what needed to be changed, and how I needed to change it, and what part of myself I needed to change. There's a part of yourself that knows you need to say something, you need to speak up, or there's a part of yourself that says you're supposed to, stay put and don't say anything right now, or not react to what someone else is doing or what an event that's taking place in your life. You don't have to overreact to it. So, how do you use a dream? Well, you have to think of it as being a lucid dream. You have to become awakened in the dream while the body is still asleep. Then you have to be able to maintain the focus and the awareness, then the remembrance of what you see that's going on in the dream. Then the next step, you have to almost put yourself out there. So one of the things you have to be able to do is, and I call it this, you have to be in your dream body to experience the dream. In other words, You're in the dream body, and all you can see is your external limbs, your hands, your body, your limbs. You can't see the back unless you got a way of showing a reflection of your back, but you don't see your face. You know you have one. And in the dream body, you have all the levels of sensitivity. You have the five physical senses are still available to you. You can taste, you can smell, you can hear, you can touch, and you can see. So all of that is still functioning in the dream world for you. But now you're going to think. You're going to take over the scenario that you see, and you're going to approach it differently. And once you do this enough times, and I can't tell you how many times you have to, because it's different from person to person, and the reality within yourself is different internally. But it might happen 10, 20 times, different times, that you keep rehearsing within the dream how you want to connect or change the outcome, because that's what it's about, changing the outcome in your reality. So you're seeking a change. And you got to make sure in this current reality that you aren't pushing away something that will give you an opportunity, because you have to think of that as well. You might think, and I'll say instead of you, I'm going to use myself as a living example. When I first started using lucid dreaming and I started thinking about the different things I wanted to change, now that I understand that I'm doing it, there was a couple of people, quote unquote friends, who were always making me the brunt of their jokes, pranks, always positioning themselves, because I was so busy into sharing what I was doing, didn't really understand that I was sharing something, and next thing they know, the people took my idea and ran with it. So when I came out to do the idea, no one was interested because they thought I stole it from somebody, but it was my idea. The bones of it was my idea. So I had to use the dream as rehearsal, the lucid dream, where I decided no matter what I saw going on in the real world, I wasn't going to overreact. I wasn't going to allow myself to get too angry. I'm going to show some anger, but I'm not going to allow myself to get so angry that I blow myself out emotionally and mentally, or I burn too many bridges. I only needed to burn one, and that's with the people who I was maybe putting too much trust in, and they were walking away with my ideas and receiving whatever I was supposed to receive. So I had to learn how to do that. I had to learn how to start to slow my mind down and start to map some things out so I can begin to make this change. And I'll use the second word that's even better, to make this shift. How was I going to change my reality? How was I going to shift from within me so I could see a different reality? I had to also learn to train myself, retrain myself, not to respond to negative words or feelings coming from these people. Not to let them entrap me into getting into a heated argument, where it's like what we would say growing up, off the hook, where everybody's screaming at each other. I had to learn how to do that, replay that. And once I could see what I needed to do, what was necessary, I look forward to the lucid dreaming moments where I could take myself up into, as they say, the upper room within myself and begin to make a shift. And I had to be patient, because just because I made the shift during the lucid time, just because I did that doesn't mean that when I get into this waking state, you'll have to be able to bring all of that energy of awareness into the physical world with you. And you had to remember how you were going to handle it. I couldn't afford to let other people trigger me, because if I let them trigger me, then I would lose faith in the fact that I made that change in the dream world, in the lucid dream world, but I let it escape in this world. So you want to be able to keep that in mind. See, I kind of come from the old school of spiritualists. What I mean by that is my parents grew up in Georgia, Thomasville, Georgia. A lot of stuff going around down in there. So they learned right off the bat their thing was prayer. Prayer will save you. Well, the only thing about that, I didn't understand that until I got out of college, because my mother used to tell me to pray all the time, but I didn't understand. Well, I was using biblical verses, I was using all of that, but I didn't understand. The one key that she let me discover on my own was I had to feel each one of those words. I had to put myself into it to see the scripture like a movie being laid out. Once I did that, then it started making a little sense. So when I start to pray for calmness, I could feel myself growing calm. These are things that you have to do. You have to put yourself in to what you're striving to change in order for it to change. You've got to feel the direction. You got to feel the decisions coming up. You got to feel that you don't need to make a decision. Nonetheless, change is going to come. Sam Cooke sang it. There's a change coming. But you don't have to wait for the change to come. You put yourself in the feeling and the sensitivity, the level of sensitivity in the moment, so change takes place. The late Reverend Ike used to say, let the feeling get the blessing. You have to feel. So he would say, go into the theater of your mind, start to look at this thing that you're working on, this reality that you're in, and work it out in your mind. Rehearse it in your mind. Begin to see the end result in your mind. Not all the stuff you're going to go through to get there. Some of that's going to happen. When you're doing lucid dreaming, you're going to see some of those little moments where you're saying, should I or shouldn't I? I'm going to do this. No, I shouldn't have done that. Don't even worry about that. Go all the way to the end. The late Neville Goddard said it himself. Think from the end. Go to the end. You know, they do that in a mathematical class called Logic and Sets, where they give you 3 premises, meaning 3 things that are true. And at the end, 3 more things that are true. And what happens, you got to figure out the mathematical operations of logic and sets in your mind to get to that conclusion. Sometimes it might be 3 different endings. Sometimes 2, sometimes 1. It depends on how you put through or live through the process. So we have to shift. And you had to keep doing it until it made sense. And then you had to get so good at it that you did it in reverse. They would say, therefore this is this. A plus B times C squared is this. And you got to figure out what A and B and C is, and you only get one of them. Or 2 of them at the top. But you got to figure out what goes on in the middle. It's the same with lucid dreaming. Once you awaken in the dream world, once you wake up, you don't go back. You continue to stay awake in the dream. Be conscious that you are awake, and now you see things differently. You see why person B caused person C to affect you, or vice versa, or how you did something that affected the other 2 or didn't. But you learn that there's a pattern. In the dream, you learn a pattern of behavior. But a further step is not the pattern of behavior, it's the pattern of attitudes that you have. And if it's not the attitude that you're looking at, it's what the initial thoughts or the initial responses that you have. And we have to consciously keep working at it. It doesn't stop in the dream world. And it doesn't stop in the world of your reality either. That is a continuation. But the most important thing when you're in this reality, and other people have said it, it's an illusion. Yeah, it's a physical world. It's something where you and trillions and gazillions of other souls have came together and kind of created this thing, created this reality. Where we got buildings and chairs and homes and apartment buildings and houses and places of business and all this other stuff. But along the way, you discover what's essentially important for you. You figure out what's important for you. You start to pay attention to what's important. And you get rid of all the other stuff, or you just put it on the shelf. So when we're thinking how to use dreams to change your reality, you can also say how to use meditation to change your reality. How to use what you speak to change your reality. You can do it through intentions, prayers, affirmations, and so forth. But you also can do it through internal actions. Not just intentions, but what you know that you're going to do. How you're going to respond or not respond. What you might say or not say, based on what you hear or not hear. Based on what you're thinking or not thinking. Based on what you're feeling or not feeling. You have to give yourself permission. You have to allow yourself to feel something. Allow yourself to see something. Allow yourself to have these experiences. Then you can decide how much more of those experiences you need in order to change your reality. Remember, the ITY is the condition of what's real. Whatever you see is real to you. Here's another breakdown of the word real. R-E is sort of like a derivative of the sun. A-L means the, meaning first. So what part of the sun or what part of the light is the first thing that you see or understand that comes to you? What part of the idea is first in your mind? What part of the action or how you intend to shift comes to your mind? And which part of it needs to be changed in order to see it in the way that you need to see it, so that you can receive it and embrace it in such a way that it gives greater balance, harmony, wellness, you name it, prosperity, abundance, success. But all these things are what? Predicated on what you think it is to you. That's why we use the word perception. Perceive, how you perceive it. When I wrote one of my books, The Wisdom of Akhenaten as I Am, and I think it's in there, he made me look up the word seed. C-E-I-V-E. Unbelievable what that means. It means to get or take. So when we receive something, we're getting or taking something again, over and over, until it makes sense. But R-E also means something. So R-E is the root of the word receive. It is that prefix, right? Re also means to become elevated. So when you receive something, whatever you're taking or bringing in to yourself, into your consciousness, into your life, into your reality, has to what? Change it for the better. So how to use dreams to change your reality for the better might be the better title. I'm not going to keep you all much longer. I just wanted to share that with you today. How to change your reality. Or how to use dreams to change your reality. And it all goes back to yourself. And your ability to want to change or love the desire to change, what it takes to change, the process. My niece, today's her birthday. My niece, Amira, she had a tag up from someone else on her, a post on her site. And it was about letting the process get you excited. Because if you get excited about the processes or steps that you go through, the big dream, the big thing that you're striving to attain, that big thing will follow. It will become the new reality. That's what it was saying in so many words. So the next time you go to sleep, or before you get ready to go to sleep, make some arrangements in your mind, some thoughts. Write down a few things that you would love to dream about that will help you change your current reality. And know that it's never ending. Just like when you go for a walk. You go for a walk, you're still walking to go for a walk. You walk to your car, you walk to the subway, you walk to the bus, you walk to the wherever. But when you get done with your walk, you're still walking. Right? You're still walking around your house, or park, wherever you live. The walking doesn't stop until you sit on the bed and raise your feet up off the floor and put your body in the bed to go to sleep. Remember, you can change the outcome. All of us can. We just have to be patient about it, be open about it, give ourselves plenty of opportunities, and allow ourselves to become resilient, allow ourselves to grow. Because that's important. Change creates growth. We have to learn how to love growth and love change. Love and appreciate the reality that we created in the beginning, but we're not creating it by ourselves. There's many other beings and entities and your ancestors that are assisting you in this greater change, this greater shift. And we have to open up to it and allow it to take place. Well, thank you for tuning into Wisdom Keys with myself, Brother Francis. I really enjoyed sharing this topic with you. How to use dreams to change your reality. Well, tomorrow is Swanda. Comes up with another set of changes, dreams and keys of awareness to assist you along your path to understand how metaphysics works and how you can utilize the understanding of it for yourself. On Mondays, Whispering Truths come up at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time for us, and that's with Audrey Wilson. But tomorrow is 12 p.m. Mountain Time with Michelle McDowell, Commander, the owner of Resident Essentials. And she has a lot of good keys that will assist anybody. Tuesdays is Dominion Tarot with Donna of Dominion Tarot. And she pulls the card of the day, the energy card that just gives you the key that you need to understand for the day. And of course she does the one card readings, but she is there to give you assistance in your life and share her thoughts and ideas about these things using the tarot. So thank you. My grace is your grace. Until next time, remember that divine grace is a blessing as we are alive and well in the age of remembrance. All right, everybody. Wisdom Keys. You have a great day. And if you have any questions, you can send your questions here or send your questions to a private Facebook message.